What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And today we are finally getting back on track. It finally looks like we are getting our Santa Claus rally going. It's about time. I know it has been a hot minute. It seems like all we've been doing is just pumping and selling. And today was kind of really that test. Today we came in and I thought we very well could have sold off, but we didn't. I think at one point, everything popped overnight. And then even looking at Tesla and Amazon, everything kind of pulled back very sharply, like it was getting ready to dump again, like we were getting ready to go back to this whole pump and dump situation. And then it just took off from that point. Very much so. But being said, where do we go from here? We have a long weekend. Of course, we have Christmas this weekend, and we have New Year's Eve on Friday, so the market will be closed. Tomorrow, the bond market will actually be closing early at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So being said, volume will be extremely low tomorrow. So expectations for tomorrow are essentially possibly just having that morning move and then essentially seeing the market go flat for the rest of the day. But I do expect next week to be a big week, considering it's a full week. I think this rally will start continuing, and I think we'll actually be able to break all-time highs and run, and not just break all-time highs and dump again like we've been doing. And I know that atrocious 400 level on QQQs has been a very much hard ceiling that I think we're going to finally break from this point while we get going into the new earnings, which is mid January. I do expect a little bit more volatility between now and then. I don't expect us to just run, but we very well could just push from that point until we essentially start stalling, running out of gas. Once Big Fang gets to a certain level, then you get that rotation back into your mid caps and small caps to get that nice push while your Fang kind of holds pattern. Then we'll have earnings. Perhaps there might be volatility introduced for other policies, whatever the case is, and we might get a little bit of a pullback. But being said, this is where it leaves us. Overnight, we've had 3 solid days, which is great to see, because normally it's either a day or 2 and then we drop. But we have 3 solid days. Again, I think now we are starting to begin that Santa Claus rally. But again, we only have tomorrow. Really isn't the day to just load up. If you see, even in this move here, we need a pullback, and not just one of these little pullbacks. We needed a deeper pullback to retest. At least the 20 would be great, and that would help us continue. Something I've always talked about. You don't want to go just straight up. These parabolic moves end up having parabolic crashes, and we don't want that. We want more of a nice, smooth push, retest kind of move. And so, again, we've just kind of gone straight up for 3 straight days, which leads me to believe that the rally is starting now. So tomorrow I do expect some selling. I think we might get our initial push. We might even gap up overnight and then sell tomorrow, come back into retesting, and then go from there. The good thing is Bitcoin actually started to is making its way back up, which is great to see. Something I've talked about. I was hesitant right here around the 46K mark, as I said, as long as it held, and it's been holding really well. Just like the market's been doing the same thing. It's building a nice base. When you start seeing this, it's getting ready for another parabolic move. And the longer it consolidates like this, just means the bigger move it's going to take. And it's going to need a lot more momentum, essentially, to break that 70K and to continue up to what is expected to be possibly a 100K move. I don't think we'll hit 100K. Definitely not this year. Possibly maybe around March-ish. Could be a possibility. Just depends on what the different catalysts are to that point. And then I expect from that point there might be a bigger correction and go into this not really like bearish market. It's hard to say with the market in itself. You have to understand that there's been so much money pumped into the system, and I know we've had money pumped in the system for almost 2 years now. But you have to understand that this is going to last for a couple of years. There's tons of money in the system. So this parabolic crash that everybody talks about all the time, it's not going to happen as quickly as people think it happens. Yes, a couple of years from now it could happen, but we just had one in the fact that we actually had a crash just last year. You have to remember that it is very rare we have crashes like that. We do have corrections. We have very diluted corrections this year. Next year, I expect a correction when we get our first rate raises. I think that one's very much predictable. And then I think if we do have 3, we'll probably have corrections along them. How much of a correction will really depend on how the market is moving, the momentum of the market, and what the growth of the economy is what's really going to matter. And you have to also understand that a true correction is at least 10 to 12% as for a true correction. So these 7, even this year, we didn't have essentially a proper correction because it was, I think at most 7.5, and back in March was the biggest correction we had. And that was it. And then we had another correction here just last month, and that was just a 5.5 correction. So it wasn't a true correction. It was just a minor dip. And so it's been a monstrous year in general. So being said, where tomorrow, I'm just staying with FANG. Like I've talked about, trying to make it easy day tomorrow. We've seen a lot of strength. We have a lot of resistance again because of essentially all the supports we broke through coming down. And so now we got to start really watching. Again, my biggest momentum stocks right now are Amazon, Tesla, and Google. I think they are the biggest momentum stocks. Google had another monstrous move today, and I think it's ready. Is it going to break here? It might not actually break here tomorrow. If it does break this 29.49 mark, I think Google can really get some speed moving forward. Amazon is going to be one of those ones. I think it's just going to get, it's actually in a wedge, so it might have to wait till it breaks out of this wedge. It's going to need some monstrous momentum to break back over this 34.64 mark. If it can do that, I think it can really go parabolic from that point. Shop has really been consolidating nicely around the 200. It hasn't dipped at all, so that's very much bullish in my opinion. But we do need to break above this 1400. If we do break above that, I think it's, again, you're going to have tons of resistance it's got to break through. But Shop is one of those ones that can really push, just like Tesla. Once it starts catching momentum, it can really start breaking some pretty heavy levels pretty easy. So I think those are the big ones I got. Coin is going to be another big one on watch, especially if Bitcoin starts to go parabolic. If we can get it above that 260 mark, I think this can actually start going and retesting all-time highs, run in parallel, obviously, with Bitcoin, because it's essentially how it does move. That ratio does work out well. And that's pretty much it. The chips are hard to say. The chips have really been up and down, and even with the market pushing hard today, it's still struggling. I think NVIDIA can definitely do some damage. Value has definitely been coming back very strong. Airbnb is one I picked up on this dip, and it's continuing to push up to very strong. But I think Airbnb is a good value play moving forward. That's why it's on my core list. I don't have a lot of value plays, but per se, I do have a couple just because of the current market situation. But I think ultimately that those are going to be your biggest moves. AMC was doing some pumping the past couple days, except for today, but it looks like it's about ready to dump. That might be MEMS might be one to keep on watch. If MEMS do die off, that means all the money is essentially being pumped back into tech. A lot of the better names tomorrow. So again, I think if you keep your focus primarily on, I don't even think, Facebook hasn't really done much today. If you again keep your focus strictly on Tesla, Google, Amazon, and Shop tomorrow, I think those ones and coin could be a good possibility going into the weekend. I think Bitcoin might actually run at around Christmas weekend. I think is a strong possibility. So being said, I definitely have to watch and see what we're going to get. But I think that again the moves are going to be very quick in the morning, and then it might die after that. So you want to stay with momentum. These ones, People will put money in these companies because they are trusted companies and they feel safe with these companies. The money will go there before it goes to any other company. It doesn't matter how good of a potential, like your Planter or whatever the other company name is, your Etsy or whatever. They'd rather put their money in a very well solid structured company that's been proven over time. And so your Tesla, Google, Amazon, and Shop, even though Shop is fairly new, I do like Shop because it does catch momentum very fast. But again, focus on Tesla, Google, and Amazon. Your Apple's starting to struggle now. Again, Facebook's starting to struggle. Microsoft does move, but it doesn't move as much as your Tesla, Google, or Amazon. So focus on those tomorrow, not financial advice. And if you've made it this far, Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys have a phenomenal Christmas. And follow me on Twitter at Hemi137. And until next time, guys, take care, and I will see you guys later.